Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, I made it in today. Nasty weather out here, so I'm proud of myself. And Tim Riley, who is directing today. And I'm going to use his name because all of a sudden I've inherited too many Tims. So I got to get the right one. And he's awesome. He knows what he's doing. He knows my every move. And it's very much a privilege for me to work with him. Also, I want to thank Joel Goldsmith. I mean, born in the late 1800s, he's global. What a contribution so long ago as a retailer, a Christian Scientist, a healer, a speaker at the First Church in Boston, finding that organized religion was interfering with a mystical sense. So he just was channeled the infinite way. And you'll see folks on the lower thirds that are supporting his work. So I encourage you to check him out, because when you love the infinite way, there's no getting around it. You've got it. They've got you. The infinite way has you because you vibrate to it. So again, thank you, Joel. Thanks, Liz Parker, for her introduction to the infinite way, because she can help get you through the whole series of lectures and books, and it'll help you out. And her husband, Marty, who's spreading the word beautifully for all of us, and I appreciate that as well. Now, my name is Chatterton, and I've never mentioned this, I don't think. My father was a Chatterton. My grandparents in the 1800s were Christian Science practitioners. And so, you know, when I took this name back, I didn't realize I was doing it for the right reason, because they thought outside of the box. They were way showers. They didn't accept what was in front of them. They experimented. They looked into healing. So I'm very blessed to have that name. So Nathan Sr., Bernice, thank you. Thank you for the name. Thank you for your heritage and for the gifts you've given me. Now, today, we're going to talk about rising to mystical consciousness through prayer and treatment. Now, what could that mean? This particular lecture, which was performed in 1963 in Hawaii by Joel, blew my mind, because I was not only ready for it, but it has helped me more than most programs, or I'm just growing. I think I'm growing. Because he always says, don't ask for anything in the human world. You know, the metaphysical world used to be claiming, I have no temperature, it's gone down. You know, you could claim in the metaphysical world, and we've gone now beyond that, which is pretty exciting, into the mystical world. So let me see if I can explain the difference. In the metaphysical world, which I remember so well as a kid, studying all kinds of metaphysics and Course in Miracles, any kind of training in mind work. And when you ask for something in the human realm, God doesn't hear that. And I needed to hear Joel say that. That is not heard by human beings. God does not talk to human beings. God talks to you in your soul. So how do we find the soul? So if we let go of the mind, and we don't ask a practitioner or a healer for how we can grow and change and be different, that's not going to work either. And guess why? You have to have your own individual experience. You are an invisible entity. You are someone who has a consciousness that's individual. Just you has a contribution to make. So you have to listen for the still small voice. So if you go to some professional for, hey, fix me or tell me what to do, that's never going to work, because you're not experiencing that. You're listening to someone who's got some principles for you to listen to. And Joel even says when he first started out, he would spend an hour with a client going over all of these principles, realizing that he had to grow even deeper. So how to grow deeper is to be within and let Christ do the talking. I love that concept. Rather than telling people what to do, that's not what this is about. That's your human mind at work. You don't want to do that. If you're with someone and you want to give them some help, let's say they are not open to what you are involved in, Joel always says that's the perfect thing. Give them money if they need it. Give them clothing if they need it. Don't tell them. If they don't know where you are, don't tell them where you are, because it's not up for debate. Nobody's going to go back and forth on this. This is not debatable. This is a personal experience we can all have. And how we get there is to practice going deeper and deeper and deeper within. And that so helps me because I've been working at this quite a while. And you know, I got a lot of work to do. I have fantasies of fear that drive me nuts. And I don't know if I practice that because maybe practicing that might make it won't happen. So I have to scold myself and go within. That sends me deeper within when my imagination gets crazy with all the things I hear that are scary. We have eternal peace within. We have grace. We are sitting with grace. It is our sufficiency to be in grace. It is our gift. We have a source within us. And when you are private about that, when you are secretive about what you do, guess who shouts from the housetops? God. He loves that when you honor the fact that you do not have to try to sell anything. You can only be within and listen to the still small voice. That still small voice is God talking to you, the Christ talking to you. So rather than going through all those principles and sharing all kinds of thoughts, when you're with someone who needs some help, let's say they want the rent, you have to say, I can't give you the rent, but I can give you this. And you can go within and listen to see if Christ has something to say that will help this person. But you don't come up with some ideas for him. You can only say, I can't do that for you. I can't give you anything that you want in the human realm. God does not hear the human mind. Please understand that. It doesn't hear that. You have to go deep within. So the punchline is, as we go deeper and deeper, and we practice going deeper, as we discard all the fantasies and the fears, we find they sort of leave us. We're feeling more relaxed, more at peace. We want peace. It's a tough planet, but it's a perfect planet. That's what's so interesting. The human planet is tough. The divine planet is perfect. We are one soul, one world, made by God. It was perfect in the beginning. It's still perfect and always will be. We'll have the infinite way, divine pleasures coming from remembering that we have everything. We're whole, we're complete, we're perfect right now. We always have been. Christ has been with us forever. They talk about first coming, second coming of the Christ. There never was one that was first or second. There always was the Christ present. Always. We'll always have that. It's our life. And even in death, that final thought of how can we get through that, you're never going to be alone, even going through your passing. God has held your hand forever, will continue to, but your job is to go within. So to hear that, your job, you got a job. You got to be still. You got to be quiet. And the cue and the advantage to the infinite way is to meditate. That's the only way you're going to get there, is to be still and quiet and meditate, commune, talk within, rest within, ask, or just receive the presence until you feel the grace, until you feel the relaxing, until you feel like, I'm home. The work is work, but guess what? We came into a plane where we can help the next generation. I love that. The work we do, the next generation that comes in will have enjoyed the work we've done, because if we're one soul and we contribute and we obliterate fear, as we keep working on this, the next generation's going to come in with less fear to have to deal with. That's a great thrill for me to think about. I got grandkids, they're going to have kids one day. Wouldn't it be nice to be born into an easier incarnation? Wouldn't that be nice? So my friends, prayer is the answer. Quiet time is the answer. Being within is the answer. Yes, you can read all the books, you can listen to all the tapes, they're inspiring, but they take you to where you need to go. the whole infinite way process says, we're going to take you there. That's what Joel found out. He walked in everybody's shoes. He had poverty. He had disease. He had a healing through Christian Science. I mean, he was guided. His life wasn't perfect, but he kept getting answers. And he kept pulling over when he kept reading things about, my sufficiency is with God. I mean, when he realized that, how simple. You know, what is it about simple? Why is simple the hardest? Well, I guess our minds are so complicated, we're so inundated with stuff, how to think and what's going on, that being simple seems like a far reach, but it is the place to go. And I just love the fact that he's talking about there's only been one Christ coming. Always has been with us, always will be with us. In transition, in death, the hardest thing that we might think about, we are forever. My dog Miranda, I had for 7 years, and I'm sometimes animals for me are just more precious than anything. And when she passed over, I thought I wouldn't survive. And 6 days later, I was uncomfortable, turned over on my stomach, and out of my back lifted this 2-foot spirit, and it was Miranda. Our connection was unbelievable, but you know, what an interesting trip I've had to be able to be given an invisible spirit, to feel it, the jet lag go up to my ceiling. I mean, how grateful. Miranda, thank you. I can't wait to see you. And also as a kid, I had a voice teacher who was a mystic. We never talked about anything, but for some reason I must have been equipped to pick up on stuff. In my meditation, being influenced by just her energy, I flew right out of my body. I was a kid, didn't know what was going on, except I went to this divine place. I didn't see people, I didn't hear anything, but it was so divine when I came back with a crash. I thought I was having a heart attack. And the pain of coming back, I didn't quite put that in perspective at the time, but boy, I'm telling you, I got a glimpse of divine life. The heavenly riches, oh my God, I mean, and then I was teaching the Course in Miracles in Orleans on the Cape, and I was discussing the death of my late husband, who was 26 years old, and I had babies under the age of 1.5 years. And as I was emotionally talking, the whole room was blown by this energy that came swooping in. So I've had my share of gifts of the other side with us. They're listening. They're with us. Hey, why don't talk to them? I miss my parents, I miss my husband, I miss my sisters, my 2 sisters, I miss folks, but to know they're alive and kicking and doing something else, and who knows what that is, I'm probably none of my business, but just to know I've had some psychic experiences that, I don't know if psychic is the right word, all I know is I've been blessed. So the infinite way came to Joel as he was working in the first church and noticing the energy between folks that was human. He saw the competition, the one-upping, and all of a sudden he got it. Something hit him that this wasn't where we were going to go. There's something better going on. And then, you know, to think the gifts I've been given, but when you think of the gifts that Joel's been given, can you imagine the gifts this man has been given about his life here? Who knows what your gift is? All I can say is if you go within, commune, pray, ask, you are an individual expression of the divine. There is no one else but you. You've got a mission. I know you've got a mission. We all have a mission. If you don't even have something interesting this lifetime, it's not over. You know, how many times I've been here, I have no idea. One little recollection once years ago where I was in a marketplace hearing tinkling, but I was in 2 places at once, so I have no idea about that, nor should I. All I know is it's never going to be over. We'll always be divine. We came divine. We're going to be divine, and we are divine. Now, living on this planet with politics and all the stuff going on and all the one-upping and all the nasty hate, boy, is that sending us more within than ever? I think so. And maybe that's a strange gift because, you know, we're obliterating that with going within. Think about that. If we're one soul of divine energy and we can cut into it by being deeply within and going deeper and deeper each time, remembering the source, remembering the Christ voice that's going to speak through you, for you, and is you. There's a punchline. I think that's where we're heading, that the God who created you is your voice. And the more you work at being deeply within in prayer and communion and meditation, the more you will get comfortable with God being your voice. That's kind of the punchline where we're all heading, because we're all created by God. We're all individual expressions. And I want to be your coach. You know, what do you love to do? What gnaws at you? What has happened to you that makes you who you are? Makes you go out on a limb. Do something crazy or special if it feels right. Never be afraid of being unique. You are unique. And if you're that individual expression, you can always ask in your prayer life, what would you like me to, what can I do to help heal the human world? The human world which really has no power. No power. No power. And I find comfort in that. It's just a lot of negativity. But we were born into this nonsense and we listen to it. And, you know, I don't know about you, but my TV's going off more. I'm being quiet more. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I know where I am. I know who to talk to. I look for grace. I look for peace. Because with that peace are the heavenly riches. Now just think about this. Let's say you want this. You want your rent. You want more money. You want better looks, whatever. You want a better house. Guess what? If you don't ask for that and you go within and you let the Christ talk to you, your heavenly riches will be far greater than what you ever dreamed of. Think about that. Greater, the heavenly riches will surprise you with something miracles. The things you think you want are going to look shabby compared to what can be given you if you do your homework. How's that for a punchline? I'm feeling like your coach. Go within. Heavenly riches are waiting for you. Don't ask for anything. Nobody's going to know. A practitioner is not going to be able to tell you a thing. You go within. Your individual expression is waiting for you, and you've got a hand holding yours all the time. Think about that. You have a source. You have a voice. Everybody has an individual voice and a guide. So, you know, each day, where are we going? What are we doing? You're with me. What's up? And it doesn't mean you leave your job, you know. He's not asking you to do crazy things like that. Do your job. Do what you have to do. Be a good family member. And remember the temples of God. All right. He loves to use, Joel loves the word temples everywhere. Temples of health. Temples of wealth. Temples of family. Temples are everywhere. And that means all of those issues are perfect. Your family's perfect. You're perfect. Even though I got such a kick out of Joel when he was laughing about what old bodies, diseased bodies are temples. He struggled with that one. But they are. But you have to go deep within and cut out all the stuff you think you feel and see and what you're hearing from, he calls it materia medica. Yes. We need doctors when we need them, until we don't need them, until we can be our own healers with the source. You're never alone. There's something about that. You're never, ever alone. And it's a beautiful feeling when you sit in grace. Our goal is grace. Our goal is to rest in grace. And grace brings you peace. And on all those fear thoughts, all of a sudden you might notice, gee, they're not bothering me the way they used to. The more you practice going deeper and deeper. And so I needed this particular lecture on my journey because it has really inspired me to be more inner, to rest in the presence, to feel the grace, to know I don't have to fear a thing, that there are temples for my children, my grandkids, the world. There's a temple for the entire world. Temples of perfection and joy and infinity. So I'm kind of wrap up here with the idea that we are eternal, we're infinite, we've been around forever, and we will be around forever. And heaven only knows, you got a job here, you came in for some reason. I inherited Chattertons, and thank you, Granddad and Grandma and Pop. Hey, Pop, I'm working on it. I think of you when I do what I do, because you all stepped outside of the box, and even though you did some silly things that didn't work out, it didn't matter, because what you did was you were open to something different and new. And that touched my heart, because I want to be that person. I want to be that Chatterton that comes up with something different and new. And so Awaken the Dream is really about just being a mouthpiece for Joel Goldsmith. I'm teaching what he is teaching. This is not me. This is me expressing what Joel is talking about. I'm his student teacher. And what a privilege. When I read that first book ages ago, with all the losses I've had and the energy that I needed, I just sat down and said, this is it. I think I've been doing this with Tim for maybe 10 years. Before that, I had 20 years on the Cape of sitting down with all kinds of healers and ministers and Bernie Siegels. I mean, I had some amazing folks on that all had a beautiful message, and then I got into Joel. And from then on, I realized it was my turn to be the student teacher of this wonderful movement, the Infinite Way. So on that wonderful note, I just can't thank you enough for joining me today, because what it gave me, I hope gives you the same wonderful feeling of go within, be deeper and deeper and deeper, and enjoy the heavenly riches. They will surprise you. That's the good news. They'll be better than anything you could have dreamt of. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you again soon.